championship returned to Europe for round 4 and the Portuguese Rally, where the city of Porto on the west coast provided a picturesque backdrop.
Great winner. McKinnon's the best.
The best.
24 nationalities were represented. Marcus Gronholm was there for Finland, substituting for the injured Freddie Loix.
After Freddie's accident, so they called me and only for this rally. So okay, I'm only testing now for the show, so it was a good chance for me to take this.
Gronholm had driven for Seat in Sweden earlier in the season. Skoda were also back, claiming to be better prepared than at their first appearance in Monte Carlo. Armin Schwartz and Emil Trenner were driving for the Czech team.
We have done quite a lot of testing. We had a good gravel test, already testing also for Catalonia. I'm very happy with the car like it is. And I mean, now we will see, because the rally is very hard, very dry. Just to finish here, and if it is possible to get to the top 10.
Leg 1 comprised of a super special, followed by 8 stages covering nearly 160 kilometres. Tommy Mäkinen had only been 5th fastest over the 3-kilometre super special, but having won the event in '97, was confident that he could take his 3rd win of the year here. However, he was to be disappointed. The Finns struggled all day with transmission problems, dropping to 9th, more than 2 minutes behind the leader.
We have some strange diff problem. It doesn't keep locking at all, and that's the main reason why we've been so slow.
Didier Auriol was 4th fastest over the first stage and ran with the leaders all day, pushing himself to the limit.
Attention, droite 5 plus arbre plonge. Attention, droite 5 plus arbre plonge. 5 plus arbre plonge.
The Toyota driver set the fastest time for stage 7, which helped him to retain 4th overnight. Colin McRae and Nicky Griff set the pace on the first leg. Fastest on 6 of the first 9 stages, they pulled out a lead of over 45 seconds. Even a puncture on stage 6 didn't slow them down. The Michelin Moose doing its job.
Colin's very happy. I mean, I think the handling and everything of the car must be fantastic, and obviously the engine's very good because of the extra weight that we are carrying. So really bodes very well for the future when we can get some weight off the car. I think it's going to be very, very encouraging.
Sainz posted the fastest time on stage 4, helping him to secure 3rd on the road for the start of leg 2. Juha Kankkunen was overshadowed by his teammate Richard Burns. Marcus Gronholm continued to impress on his Mitsubishi debut, running with the leaders all day to finish 5th. After a promising start, the 2 Skodas were to hit trouble. Emil Trenner retired with clutch failure on the day's final stage. Shortly after, the same problem was to end Armin Schwartz's rally. With 10 stages making up leg 2, Colin McRae's lead was not unassailable. Richard Burns and the 2 Toyota drivers believed they could overhaul the Scotsman. McRae also had the disadvantage of starting first on the road, which is traditionally slower. His car clearing the loose gravel, making it going faster for those that follow. As predicted, the Ford driver failed to make a single stage win on the second leg and only managed 3rd fastest on 2. Nevertheless, he retained his lead. Richard Burns fought a ferocious battle with Sainz and Auriol for 2nd place throughout the day. The Englishman won 2 stages but lost out, finishing the leg in 4th. Carlos Sainz was the victor of that battle, setting 3 fastest stage times to move into second place, 33 seconds behind McRae. Didier Auriol won 2 stages, keeping the pressure on Sainz to lie less than 2 seconds behind his teammate. Marcus Gronholm had been running consistently in the top 5, but a brake problem on stage 14 put too much strain on the clutch and it failed 2 sections later. Gronholm was disappointed, but he had impressed the Mitsubishi team.
Well done as far as you got, and thank you very much for everything you did.
Gronholm wasn't the only Finn having problems. Kankkunen was also forced to retire.
A kilometer before the finish, the engine on the straight just stopped and started to run only on 2 cylinders. We just managed to come over the finish line, but then it stopped completely.
Leg 2 was also bad news for the Seats. Liatti and Rovanperä both retired, although the Italian's exit was the most spectacular.
In destra e sinistra uno più. Orco! Dai, come on, come on, come on! Dai! Vai, prova.
Another frustrating rally for the Spanish team. With his gearbox now working properly, Mäkinen was back up to speed, finishing the leg in 5th.
Stage was no difference at all, but slowly at the end of second stage, was getting some more. And
Bruno Thierry managed to bring his Subaru home in 6th place, despite a roll on stage 13. The final 2 stages of the day were cancelled. The loss was bad news for the top teams and drivers who'd been counted on them to make up positions. But the sheer number of spectators lining the sections raised safety issues which could not be ignored. Leg 3 was the shortest of the rally, consisting of 4 special stages covering just 60 kilometres. This would make it very difficult for Sainz, Auriol and Burns to do much about McRae's lead, unless the Scotsman met with problems. McRae again had the disadvantage of starting first on the road, although it didn't seem to slow him too much, losing just 3 seconds on the first 2 stages. Carlos Sainz kept the Ford driver under pressure, chipping away at his lead until with 1 stage to go, the gap was down to 20 seconds. Auriol in turn kept the pressure on his teammate, even with this mistake.
Gauche à fond. C'est bon, c'est bon. Gauche à fond, encore. Sur droite, sur attention, gauche 5 plus.
Richard Burns failed to get to grips with the lead battle on the final day, and even came under attack from Tommi Mäkinen on a late charge. The Finn won the last 3 stages of the day in a tremendous comeback drive, which would net him 5th overall. Bruno Thierry concentrated on getting to the finish after his accident on the previous day. Having led from the first stage, Colin McRae took his 2nd win of the season, opening up the prospect of a championship battle, which 2 rounds ago was looking like a foregone conclusion. Formula 2 was dominated by Hyundai, with teammates Alistair McRae and Kenneth Eriksson battling throughout the event. McRae emulated his brother by taking the win. 2 consecutive wins and a very competitive looking package gave the older McRae plenty of reason to celebrate his Portuguese victory. The Scot finished over 12 seconds ahead of Sainz. Auriol was 3rd, a further 4 seconds adrift. Mäkinen's 5th place was enough to keep him at the top of the Drivers' Championship, now only 2 points in front of McRae. Toyota led in the Constructors' Championship.